Hey, howdy and hello, folks. Welcome back into another edition of Tank Teaches. Today we're going over draft strategies. I have part 5 up there, but I don't really intentionally have any other destination for how far we're going with this. I think we just keep working with it and building the knowledge and see where it leads us. So, with that, let's get into it. All right. So let's step over here and take a look at some of the draft strategies we've got that we will be covering today. We are looking at hero. That's really aiming towards a single position, taking a top 5 player, and then focusing on all of your other roster positions. Zero, aiming at a higher talent in all of your other positions before going mid-tier players at a specific position. Heavy, higher emphasis and focus on a single or multiple positions, taking value at the remaining positions on your roster. Balance, you really don't have any aimed targets as much as you filling in your roster and look to complete your starting roster before really adding any depth or bench player. And here at T1A, we recommend be water. This is where you're really just looking to take value as it comes to you, especially in your startup drafts. In your rookie drafts, you can't really bank as much on players and what they mean, especially if you're not setting rosters right away. So take the value as it comes. Let's break some of these down here. Hero. Hero RB is the most common form of this. You're really looking to take a top player, like an elite player in the first 2 rounds, probably spending most of your auction budget on this player, and then you're really waiting on this position till much later and filling in with situational role players, committee running backs, things like that are just versatile pieces, more flex type players, but you're rotating them in and for your running back 2 spot and other flex. The zero strategy. Now this is not, I am not drafting 0 running backs. That's ridiculous. Zero strategy is a strategy where you often punt or you wait for the bottom tier 1 or upper tier 2 talent before really getting into this. This doesn't apply as much into auction as it does for like snake and linear drafts because you're really looking at taking your first 5, 6 rounds and just getting the best talent for the rest of your roster. Zero strategy comes in when you're drafting like a quarterback and a running back, or sorry, a quarterback and a tight end and a couple wide receivers before you even start getting into the running back. Where a lot of times you're grabbing, that valuable running back, good wide receiver, and kind of filling in your roster that way. Zero is pushing that value on the running back down and really filling in with other positions. Over the last few years, this has been a very league winning type strategy because you're looking for those boom bust players, and if you play it right, you could be winning weeks, leading yourself into playoffs, into championships. But it can also be volatile because there is that bust potential. If you're not starting the right players the right weeks, this could really hurt you. Heavy. So this really strategizes in valuing positions versus a player or top tier players. You are doing more of the spray and pray technique where you're just grabbing a whole bunch of talent. But this is often a strategy determined on format or roster types. If you're rostering over 3 or 4 types of one position, especially starting positions, so like if you have 2 running backs and 3 or 4 wide receivers starting, you need to go heavy. You need to go heavy in your strategy because you're going to fall behind on the value. If in that specific type of format where you're starting 3, 4, 5 wide receivers, running backs have little to no value. So you need to spend your top value picks on fulfilling very valuable positions like the wide receiver. Balanced. A strategy really focused on just filling out your starting roster. Um, this is least likely to win you a league, not because you didn't get good players, but because the value that you're overreaching around, which could be a very valuable flex player or a secondary player that could help if you have injuries. Instead, you overreached the value to get a position that you needed. A lot of times it's tight end, or in two quarterback, you're reaching to get that second quarterback because you didn't draft them enough early. So now you're overreaching that stud wide receiver or rookie that could have a breakout because you need a position. So this is where it can really hurt you. Our favorite strategy is come in with players that you want, but really you're going to be water. Just kind of mold to whatever you need to do to get value. Don't focus on drafting to make trades, but if you draft for value and get great players, you can fulfill needs later with trading. With being water, you want to draft for value and then trade for need. That's our one of our first rules is just be water. A lot of times when you do an auction or startup draft, you're not setting lineups right away. So just grab the players that have talent, that have value, and work on tearing down or working trades where you get another pick and a player, or working to fulfill a need. Like say you didn't do well on tight end, you can trade down a wide receiver and get a tight end and something else. There is ways to work things around, and again, just grab the value that comes. Quick, easy one today. We covered a couple of the different draft styles, introduced you to the first T1A fantasy rule that we have. I think I'm going to try to bring Mike in onto this next one and go through the T1A fantasy rules that we've come up with, that we kind of go through our leagues and what it really helps us be successful. Hope you enjoyed this. You guys have a great one.